News at 5 with Michael Benny.
Hello, everyone. You're watching the only local newscast to bring you the biggest stories of the day and the Weather Authority forecast right off the top. Right now, we're live along the Oneida River in Brewerton. What a beautiful spring day, as we're finally feeling the warmth and sunshine we should have seen weeks ago. It's getting people outside to embrace the warmer temperatures. So many waterfront restaurants and plenty beyond Brewerton are opening their patios for outdoor dining tonight. Let's get the latest on where we go from here with meteorologist Mike Brookins.
Michael, today was the warmest day of meteorological spring, March, April, and May. We equaled this back in February, actually. 75 right now, 78 degrees downtown. A little summery out in the Finger Lakes. Maybe you're going for wine tasting this evening in the Finger Lakes just south of Seneca Falls. They've got 83. It's 70 in Fulton, 69 in Fulton, 70 up in Fairhaven. So it's a little cooler, actually, right near Lake Ontario. Fossil Service experts live triple Doppler radar. Nothing more than an odd sprinkle there in Cayuga County, a shower up in Herkimer County. We do have some clouds that are moving on through. So partial sunshine right now. Many areas are dealing with some filtered sunshine, even mostly sunny skies warming up the Finger Lakes. We'll find a better chance for showers developing the next couple of days, but also some even warmer temperatures. Enjoy it in the meantime. If you're going to be on the go, have those sunglasses handy. I do think these clouds are going to be parting. 68 degrees at 8 o'clock around sunset, which is at 8:06. So we're going to lose the sunshine, but increase the heat. We'll show you how warm we're going to be, the warmest day of the year coming up.
Thanks, Mike. Just after 5, here are the top 5 stories on CBS 5 News. Breaking now, the years-long battle over a multi-million-dollar historic painting is almost over. The State Attorney General's office just brokered a deal to sell Thomas Cole's painting, Portage Falls on the Genesee, with the money it fetches going to the William Seward House Museum of Auburn, where the painting hung for years. That artwork, which measures 5 feet by 7 feet, was taken to a new location, as its future was tied up in legal fights by an heir to William Seward, who served as Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of State. The painting was last valued at $20 million. New video from the air in Cayuga County. One person in the hospital after a massive blaze at a dairy farm in Aurora. 11 fire companies were called to the scene on Angling Road at about 9 o'clock last night. Dispatchers say crews had to round up loose livestock at the farm. There were about 300 calves there. At least 20 of them died. There is still no word on what caused the fire. Tensions rise during a May Day rally in Paris. This protest, one of several across French cities, called to oppose that country's president's economic policies. Some demonstrators set a car on fire. Others smashed out the windows of a McDonald's. They're trying to send a message, they say, to President Emmanuel Macron, whose centrist policies would end some protections for workers. St. Joseph's Hospital of Syracuse says it's using its purchase of the naming rights at the Lakeview Amphitheater to spread its message just like Jesus Christ. Employees got a letter from the president of the hospital explaining the purpose of spending $1.5 million on naming rights for the concert venue. In the letter, the president of St. Joe's says Christ reached out to people who were less likely to seek him, and doing this made himself known to them. Dramatic new video from Brazil. An abandoned high-rise building occupied by squatters catches fire and collapses. Chunks of fiery debris crash onto neighboring buildings and down to the streets below. Firefighters say at least one person has been killed. They do believe that number will go up. After weeks and weeks of miserable, chilly weather, it is finally feeling like spring across central New York. CBS 5's Stephanie Stanovich is with the Live Eye at the Winter Harbor Marina along the Oneida River in Brewerton.
Michael, we are overlooking the Oneida River. As you could see, we are on a lift that Winter Harbor Marina uses to repair their boats. Now they are anxiously getting their boats ready and taking advantage of nice days just like the one we had today. Now we are told come May 15th, when the canals are open, these boats will be out here cruising on the river. It's that time of the year. Marinas are getting ready for business.
Now the mad rush is on because the canal opens the 15th. And everybody's going to want their boats.
Winter Harbor Marina has several buildings that store people's boats during the cold. And after a long winter, they are now open, and they are putting on the finishing touches on some of the boats.
We do a lot of work on props, shafts, keels, repairs. We do paint work. We have a 65 in the paint booth we're painting now. We have another 40 going in.
Tom Perro is the owner of the marina and says their phones have been ringing off the hooks for weeks, with owners excited to take their boats out on the river.
This is our break. We've been waiting for the last 3 weeks for the weather to finally break and warm up at night and during the day. And now there's no ice and warm weather and everybody's ready to go.
Members of the marina travel from all over the world, currently having 180 boats in their facility. Tom says one of the best parts about the nice weather is all the people he meets.
They come from Florida, Louisiana, Tennessee, California, Texas.
Anxiously waiting to be out on the water in the sun. Just 2 more weeks until the canal is open.
As soon as they say go, everybody will be on the move.
Tom says they definitely expect it to be busy here on the river once the canal's open. He says that May is typically the busiest month for them. Reporting live in Brewerton, I'm Stephanie Stanovich.
It is finally here. Stephanie, thank you. This is one of the top stories on the CNY Central mobile app. You can get the news of the day, breaking alerts, and more when you download it for free on your smartphone. A dairy farm in Aurora, Cayuga County, destroyed after a massive inferno last night. Neighbors say the intensity of the flames was like nothing they've ever seen before. Let's get the facts first on CBS 5 News at 5 o'clock. The village of Aurora is in southern Cayuga County. Nearly a dozen fire companies were called to the scene off Angling Road at about 9 o'clock last night. Crews had to round up the livestock as they rolled up to the scene. There were about 300 cows in the barn. We've learned at least 20 of those animals have died. 911 dispatchers say one person was sent to the hospital, but the extent of those injuries is still unclear, and the cause of the fire is not known. CBS 5's Mary Keeler reports.
Crews have been out here all day removing some debris from the partially burned calf barn at Aurora Ridge Dairy Farm. Meantime, neighbors who saw the flames last night say they were like they've never seen before. Trudy and Ronald Buxenbaum are retired dairy farmers who have lived in Aurora since 1960, right down the street from Aurora Ridge Dairy Farm, where part of a calf barn went up in flames last night.
A lot of flames spread way out. I couldn't understand how anything that big could be burning all at once.
Trudy recalls watching the flames from her front door.
I saw the moon, and then I looked next to the moon, and I see all these flames that seem to be almost as high as the moon. So it was really intense, real inferno for a while.
Today, as crews worked to remove debris, the Buxenbaums flew their plane overhead. They shared these images with us. You can see the partially burnt barn, where we're now told some 20 calves would die. Ron says fighting this fire with animals in the equation had to be challenging.
It's pretty wild because the animals get let loose and they're running around, and you got to do something. We got to feed them and water them and house them, and milk them.
And they know how crushed the farm must be as former farmers themselves.
We're very familiar with the farming and the farming community, and have a real feel for what people are going through right now with the fire, the devastating fire.
I spoke with neighbors off camera today who tell me their heart simply breaks for the people and family here at Aurora Ridge Dairy Farm. They say although this community is very spread out, it is very tight-knit, and they are standing behind them for whatever they need. In Aurora, I'm Mary Keeler reporting.
A day doesn't go by we don't hear something about U.S.-Russia relations and the investigation into Russia's influence in the last presidential election. It's big stuff, and it's not lost on some young athletes who are about to represent Central New York in Russia. CBS 5 Sports Director Nico Tamurian is in right now with the story.
Hey there, Michael. The kids say their classmates don't believe them when they tell them this is going on, but a core group of 6 Central New York kids and some local coaches are heading to Russia to play in the most prestigious youth hockey tournament in Europe. It's called the Eurochem Cup, and it features 7 European nations and, for the first time ever, a team from right here in the United States. Now, that team is the Albany Capitals, but I mentioned there's a local flavor from around Onondaga County and the surrounding area. And what an honor for these kids. They're 10 and 11 years old, making an historic trip. The team knows they hear about Russia in the news, like Michael said, every day, and they are being careful, of course, but they hope this trip can be one of goodwill, displaying the best of Russia and the United States.
It feels good to know that I'm going to go to another country besides like Canada, and it's going to be a long trip. they're saying I'm lucky that I'm going, and hopefully that I'll have a fun experience going.
It'll be very important for me that he just doesn't blow by it, you know, talking with one of his buddies, that he takes the time to look at the architecture, you know, the artwork, everything that it's about there, you know, and really kind of absorbs it. This is something that these kids will remember for the rest of their lives.
Indeed it is, Michael. Now, Coach Park's telling me his biggest concern has nothing to do with the ice. It's getting that litany of paperwork, customs, all of that to travel from the U.S. to Russia, and maybe more importantly, Russia back here to the United States. Now, this team wearing the red, white, and blue, get this, their second game will be against Team Russia, and the rumor the team is hearing is that Russian President Vladimir Putin will be in attendance at that Team USA Russian game. So that'll be a big deal. They leave on May 24th.
Our little diplomats.
Yeah.
They could probably get the job done.
That's what I'm saying. You know, they're excited.
I have much more faith in them.
You know, they're excited. They say, I want to trade my jersey with a Russian player jersey. I want to bring the Russian jersey home. You love to hear it.
Kids, thank you, Nico. The only school safety task force in Central New York is coming together. Is there anything definitely off the table when it comes to being safe at school?
And we're taking a break from the serious weather, soaking up the sunshine, at least filtered sunshine. Nice mild temperatures. There's a live view of Syracuse with the Stanley Law Skywatch, brought to us by Adirondack Furniture. Or are we taking a break? I've got an alert. It's the barbecue alert. Going from shoveling snow in some areas yesterday morning to firing up the grill, the steaks, the mushrooms, the veggies, put it on there. 70 degrees, dry and mild with sun and clouds. Now our skies will get more threatening, but will also increase the humidity and temperature. We've got it all wrapped up with your 7 days. Stick with us. It's coming up next.
Today, some golfed and some skied.
What? May 1st, can you believe that?
No.
Shorts and t-shirts.
I believe it when I see it.
Temperature. Take a look right here. Photo from Jeff Nader.
Look at that.
He's a meteorologist at WHAM in Rochester, and he took a couple of hours, and I was dying to do it myself, but I didn't get out there.
They do this in like shorts and t-shirts?
With 70 degrees and sunshine, why not? The sunscreen, the sunglasses as well. Little shticky, only one trail. That's Rocket Run, top to bottom, one lift. But still, anytime you're in central western New York skiing in May, 7-month season for them. So kudos to all the skiing fans out there that maybe hit the slopes. That's in Ontario County, by the way, the Bristol Hills, just south of Canandaigua. Well, these are the temperature rises over the last 24 hours. Quite dramatic of a change. We told you it would be coming. And we're going to continue to see an upward trend. We're up 15 degrees versus this time yesterday, 75 degrees. 80s aren't far away. It's 80 degrees right now in Penn Yan, probably in Bristol, 82 degrees in Dansville. Cooler near Lake Ontario to the east and northeast. Right along the lakeshore up near Watertown, only in the 60s, probably 50s right along the coastline because the water is so chilly. And we'll see that again when you're up in Oswego, Jefferson County, right along the lakeshore. High pressure is building in. We are dealing with a warm front up to the north. That is spreading some clouds into central New York at a very odd sprinkle in Herkimer County. For the most part, though, just dimmer sunshine at times. And I think we're going to end the day in most spots mostly sunny. Yeah, after 8 o'clock now, sunset. The dusk doesn't end until almost 8:30. I am loving that. I wish this high pressure and sunshine and warm weather would stick around for the rest of the week, but we've got some changes which we're going to detail. As far as the airports, with that area of high pressure, no delays from all the major hubs throughout the Great Lakes in the Northeast connecting into Syracuse. Here's the futurecast. Partly cloudy sky early tonight, becoming mainly clear. It's not going to be as cold. We'll have a slight breeze. We're already a lot warmer than we were last time at this time, so I'm thinking lower 50s to maybe some spots upper 40s. Much better than the 32 degrees we started at this morning. So at the bus stop, you're not going to probably need a heavy coat, maybe a light jacket, but then we're going to be warming to the warmest temperatures this year. So I do think tomorrow is a shorts and I'm giving the thumbs up for my kids for wearing that, because they'll be allowed to with sun and clouds here midday. There is a passing isolated shower mid to late afternoon. A better chance for a few showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm passing by to the north. But you'll see by 6 o'clock it's already moved through. An isolated shower tomorrow night. Spotty showers Thursday morning, but then scattered thunderstorms will be developing by midday. And there'll be some humidity increasing as the front's just up to our north. So 53 our low, becoming mainly clear, not as cold. Here's the 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, again, my pick day. Doesn't get much better than this. It's mostly dry, an odd shower mid to late afternoon, maybe a better chance up north for a few showers or a thunderstorm. 82, that's going to be the warmest since October and the warmest of this year. 78 with scattered showers and storms, some breaks of sunshine Thursday. Scattered storms again Friday, 74. The humidity goes down, so does the temperature for the weekend. Sun and clouds Saturday, a few evening showers on Sunday, 65. 66 on Monday with an early shower. Otherwise, we're looking good heading into Tuesday. Michael?
Thank you, Mike. Coming up on CBS 5 News at 5:30, doctors making house calls. It's coming back, we've heard, although the procedures are certainly changing. From curing a hangover to getting Botox, we're following one doctor as he makes cosmetic house calls. You're watching CBS 5 News at 5 o'clock. Dozens of questions that Special Counsel Robert Mueller reportedly wants to ask the president have been leaked to the media. Michelle Macaluso reports.
Special Counsel Robert Mueller reportedly wants President Trump to answer almost 50 questions as part of the probe into Russia's interference in the 2016 election and possible obstruction of justice. The set of questions were first obtained and reported by the New York Times Monday night. Since then, several other media outlets have confirmed the list of questions. President Trump blasted the leaks in a tweet Tuesday morning. So disgraceful that the questions concerning the Russian witch hunt were leaked to the media. Jeremy Mayer, political analyst at George Mason University, believes the latest leak hurts the Mueller probe.
It isn't clear to me that Mueller is leaking. In these situations, you ask who benefits. And because it hurts Mueller's investigation, either someone inside Mueller's team wants to hurt him, or much more likely, one of Trump's lawyers leaked this to the New York Times to damage the Mueller investigation.
Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch, the conservative government watchdog group, says it's unclear who leaked the questions, but it would be inappropriate if the Mueller team did.
If that's the case, I would presume they leaked it to put pressure on President Trump to cooperate and submit himself to questioning. And it would be an inappropriate use of government resources, again, to target President Trump.
It's still unclear whether President Trump will sit down for an interview with Mueller's investigators. Trump has said before that he would like to speak to the special counsel, but his new personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, has warned Trump of the risks. At the White House, I'm Michelle Macaluso.
And this is the focus of our question of the day. You can answer it right under the news tab at cnycentral.com. Coming up on CBS 5 News at 5 o'clock.
I talked to him about these things, and he said, well, I get my bell rung all the time playing football, and it was shocking to me to hear that.
The dangers of football could be greater than we know. One family explaining why they blame the sport for their young son's death. St. Joseph's Hospital in Syracuse revealing why it spent big money to put its name on the Lakeview Amphitheater. It seems the hospital drew inspiration from Jesus. We'll find out how, coming up at 5:58. There's new research out today. It suggests the dangers for children who play football could be worse than previously thought. Jamie Yukas explains.
I loved my son. He was just a wonderful kid.
Gregory Ransom is heartbroken about the loss of his 13-year-old son, James. Just over a year before his death, James suffered a brutal hit to the head while playing football as a lineman. After the game, his dad noticed blood around his ear.
I talked to him about these things, and he said, well, I get my bell rung all the time playing football, and it was shocking to me to hear that.
James's sister Julia said his personality began to change immediately after the hit.
You could see that inside he knew he was hurting and he was struggling.
James suffered from short-term memory and vision loss and OCD. He attempted suicide just 3 months after the hit and was committed into a mental institution for a month. Nearly a year later, he took his own life.
He was happy, a friendly kid.
You think this is all because of football?
I know it was.
A new study published in Annals of Neurology looked at the brains of 246 deceased amateur and professional football players. 211 of them had the degenerative brain disease known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, which can be caused by repetitive hits to the head. The study showed kids who began playing tackle football before the age of 12 began showing cognitive and emotional symptoms associated with CTE an average of 13 years earlier than those who started after 12.
I think it's concerning because it was such a change.
Dr. Ann McKee of Boston University is the study's lead researcher.
Children's brains are rapidly developing between 8 and 12 years old.
There he is, lineman of the year.
The Ransom family did not get James's brain tested for CTE, but they hope to prevent his injuries from occurring in other children.
I want parents to know the science and to know what's happening to their sons' brains.
Jamie Yukas, CBS News.
We have the top 5 stories, all new next at 5:30, and Tara Gibbons is with the Live Eye in DeWitt for her report.
Well, members of the public came here to the town of DeWitt to discuss ideas on bettering active shooter drills in schools. I'm Tara Gibbons, and coming up, we'll tell you those ideas.
It's 5:27, and that's live triple Doppler radar. Meteorologist Mike Brookins tracking the forecast through our evening tonight. And will we have another stunner tomorrow? The details coming right off the top at 5:30.
CBS 5 News at 5:30 with Michael Benny.
Good afternoon. First at 5:30, the top 5 stories and the Weather Authority forecast. We're live in downtown Syracuse. The sun poking through those breaks in the clouds. It's almost hard to remember the last time we had a day like this, although I know somebody who keeps very good track of that sort of thing. It's meteorologist Mike Brookins. He has the Weather Authority forecast right off the top.
You have to go way back in October. In fact, Michael, today was the warmest day of 2018. Oddly enough, the one that was just a degree cooler was in late February when we hit 75. Look at this temperature map, and I have an update. In between hours, we did hit 76, I just heard. So let's up that to 76 degrees now. 77, your high in Ithaca, 83 in Elmira. We're still soaking in that partial sunshine. Temperatures in the 70s. All is perfect. I wish you could just keep it like this year round. It'd be like San Diego, right? We do have dry conditions throughout central New York. I know there's a sprinkle showing up there. I don't think that's reaching the ground. Maybe an odd light shower in the Adirondacks. So there's Fossil Service experts live triple Doppler radar. We have some concern for the wind tomorrow. It's going to be far north of central New York and northern New York. Jefferson County could have some wind gusts to 45 miles per hour during the afternoon and early evening. They've got a wind advisory up to the north there. During the night tonight, we will cool down after a very comfortable evening, 53 degrees, the low temperature. While that is cool, that it's nowhere near as cold. And look how quickly we rise with the sunshine. Sun comes up before 6 o'clock this time of the year. So we're going to make a couple of degrees warmer for tomorrow, but then there's going to be some changes as we head to the weekend. We're going to show you how much we cool down coming up.
Thanks, Mike. Just after 5:30, here are the top 5 stories on CBS 5 News. The amount of drugs is absolutely staggering. A man from Oswego locked up with no bail after a huge bust. A search warrant led to a home on West 1st Street this week. Police say they found more than 1,200 grams of fentanyl, 300 grams of heroin and crack cocaine. The street value of the seized drugs, about $1.2 million. 42-year-old Jeremy Acosta is facing felony drug charges. A Syracuse man accused in an armed robbery. Police were called to Maria's Hot Food off South Geddes Street at about 10:30 last night. A worker told authorities the man started threatening him and customers with a knife and then stole sausage snacks. Police arrested 42-year-old Markel Washington. New video from Washington State. A 75-year-old pharmacist stops a drug-stealing thief dead in his tracks. A 21-year-old masked man walked behind the counter and immediately went for cough syrup containing opioids. But before he got away, that pharmacist put him in a headlock and tossed him to the ground. Then police got him. The Food and Drug Administration cracking down on companies that make e-cigarette liquid look like candy. These pictures show how some liquid nicotine products look very similar to stuff kids enjoy, like juice boxes, cookies, even whipped cream. The FDA sending 13 warning letters to companies that make these products, accusing them of false and misleading labeling.
We want Facebook to be somewhere where you can start meaningful relationships. So we're excited to start rolling this out soon.
Time to trade in the little black book for Facebook. The social media company getting a little more social with a dating feature. Friends won't be included as potential partners, we're told, and Facebook hasn't said exactly when this is going to roll out. The special task force made up of local leaders with a plan that is to develop better ways to protect children in school is now back at work to finalize a strategy. Let's get the facts first on CBS 5 News at 5:30. The Onondaga County Safety Task Force was formed after the high school shooting in Parkland, Florida back in February. Members include the Onondaga County District Attorney, the County Executive, the Onondaga County Sheriff, as well as the Mayor of Syracuse. Since Parkland, there have been more than a dozen school threats across central New York, triggering a new need for a new safety plan. CBS 5's Tara Gibbons is with the Live Eye at DeWitt Town Hall right now.
Well, many of the ideas that were brainstormed and discussed here this afternoon are considered the best practices for lockdown drills. Now, the idea is the best ideas become some of the recommendations that schools could be implementing. Dr. Christopher Brown is part of the School Safety Task Force, where he's leading the subcommittee on training throughout schools. He's been inviting members of the public to offer their opinions and suggestions to better prepare students and schools here in central New York. For example, one suggestion proposes schools do more active shooter training drills and fewer fire drills, and then debrief about each training after.
Looking at best practices for schools in the area of training and in the area of communication, and trying to funnel those down to a few of those tidbits that we want to bring forward to the master committee, if you will.
Dr. Brown says his group will narrow down the specific ideas and bring them forward to the larger task force committee. Reporting live in DeWitt, I'm Tara Gibbons.
All right, Tara, thank you. Looking ahead, the father of one of the Florida high school shooting victims recently went back to the scene of the crime, and he says it was devastating. Later this week, Andrew Pollack will be part of our live town hall meeting as we discuss school safety. His daughter, Meadow, was shot 9 times and died in a classroom in Parkland, Florida. Since the death of his daughter, Andrew Pollack has become a fierce advocate for school safety. You may remember his emotional words at the White House right after his daughter's funeral. Now he wants to share a direct message with everybody in central New York about who's on the school board where you live.
If you have children and you're concerned about your local community, it's more important than who the president is your school board. They control millions of dollars, they control the security of your children, and they control their education curriculum, and also the behavioral metrics.
Andrew Pollack has a lot to say about where things stand nearly 3 months after his daughter was murdered, and he'll share it with you during our town hall, Safe at School, a live broadcast this Thursday night from 7 until 8 o'clock, and we'd really like for you to be a part of it, live and in person at Liverpool Middle School. You can register, save a seat, by clicking on the Alert tab right at the top of our homepage, cnycentral.com. Doctors are making house calls again, but it's not just to cure an illness. This is about how we look, as Danielle Nottingham explains.
Hey, come on in.
Lisa Desai is getting microneedling to help build collagen and prevent wrinkles in the comfort of her dining room in Orange County, California.
What do you like best about getting this service at home?
I think just the privacy of being in your own home, as well as having the doctor right here that you can have a conversation, you can ask different questions.
I want you to tell me immediately if it really hurts.
She calls on the services of Dr. Sal Nadkarni, a concierge physician who specializes in cosmetic procedures. Dr. Sal's office is his medical bag. He travels miles to deliver minimally invasive procedures right to his clients' homes.
Botox and fillers, and then I do microneedling. I do some of the injectables for double chin treatments called Kybella.
A visit from a private doctor can run thousands of dollars, but medical spas and physicians are now offering quick procedures at prices comparable to visiting an office. And it's not just for the rich and famous.
About 20-25% of my patients are the Hollywood celebrity types, and then about the rest of the 75% or so are just regular, normal patients.
Justine Schenzeler is a nurse from Los Angeles and says she can get Botox injections within her budget and schedule.
Our time is so precious. It's so hard to drive to an office, sit in traffic, then get to the office, sit in the office, and wait for the doctor to be available.
And she's done within 10 to 15 minutes and can go about her day. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Syracuse's St. Joseph's Hospital paying to put its name on the Lakeview Amphitheater. Coming up at 5:58, the reasons for doing it and why the hospital says advertising like that is following in the footsteps of Jesus.
So nice to push past the month of April. This May 1st, a lot warmer with some sunshine. A little cloud action there as well mixing in. This is the Stanley Law Skywatch brought to us by Adirondack Furniture. How did April stack up? The fourth coldest average temperature for the month. 2018, 39.5, well, we should be, 7 degrees warmer? Not the coldest. How does May look? We've got an outlook coming up for that and a pretty warm forecast for tomorrow as well, coming up next.
All day long, people have been taking advantage, we hope, of this incredible day. At Onondaga Lake Park, a day to maybe go out for a run, maybe check on the boat, maybe walk the dog, a whole host of things we can do there. And that's video of people doing all of it.
I'm very excited about it. It seems like it's been a very hard winter for most of us, so it's a refreshing change.
Yes, we totally agree with that sentiment. To everyone who got out today, we say bravo. If you did not, we hear there's more on the way tomorrow. Let's go live along the Oneida River in Brewerton right there. The clouds have been building throughout the afternoon. Is that a fair assessment?
That's okay.
I have zero experience forecasting the weather.
It is very pleasant. We're in the 70s. I'll take clouds in the 70s.
That water is still.
Beautiful evening to get out there.
Nice.
Grab an ice cream cone perhaps. It's now May. Summer season almost here. We are happy for that, Michael. Looking ahead later this month, I've got some good news. Now, notice this map is mostly orange. Yeah, that's the May outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. And we're talking above normal temperatures on the average. Not to say there aren't going to be some cool times, but today, Central New Yorkers, we were just, battered with the cold and the snow through March and April, that once we break out into this type of weather, we just seem to appreciate it a little more, don't we? 75 degrees. Look back to the west. There's some 80s, and they're coming this way, folks. We're going to see temperatures for the first time this year into the 80s. It'll be the warmest day of the year. I think we'll be not far away from that 81 or 84 degrees. Notice there is a bit of a drop in the northern plains, and that's going to be a factor of our weekend's forecast, which we're going to show you a bit of a cool down. Right now it's dry. Here's Falso Service Experts live triple top of the radar, so those clouds really aren't causing any problems out there. So here's what you need to know. For the most part, tomorrow is still going to feature some sunshine, some clouds. We'll bring in a chance for a shower, but more importantly, it's the warmest day of the year. Normal high temperature is 64 degrees. We're going to be almost 20 degrees above average after being almost 20 degrees below average over the weekend. It's muggy, in fact, for Thursday. Dew point temperatures are I haven't used that term so far this year, but the dew point temperature, the amount of moisture in the air is going to be going up, and it's probably going to fuel with the front around some scattered showers and storms, maybe a gusty storm with a heavier downpour during the afternoon. As we go through Friday, continued stormy with the cold front sliding through Friday evening. Clear this evening after some early clouds. We'll go from variably cloudy to mainly clear tonight. Temperatures not as cold. Lower 50s for Syracuse, upper 40s in the coldest spots in central New York. So a nice start to the day. No need for that heavy coat. It's t-shirt and shorts weather. In the afternoon, tank tops, go for a run. Now, we're not going to take a dip in the pool, but there might be the need for a brief time to need the umbrella with just a spotty shower. I think it is going to be isolated. Otherwise, we're back into enjoyable weather for tomorrow evening. Scattered to isolated showers possible tomorrow night. Then as we go into Thursday, this is going to start to ramp up. Notice it's very isolated to start, but then the showers and thunderstorms do move in during the afternoon hours. So your forecast for tonight, 53, becoming mainly clear and not as cold. Winds on the light side, 5 to 15. Tomorrow does turn windy by the evening. Breezy for the afternoon. Warm, too, with increasing clouds. Isolated or spotty showers develop. If you're east of Lake Ontario, a better chance for a few later afternoon showers and thunderstorms. But that activity does increase for Thursday and Friday, so we're not going to be able to enjoy the sunshine quite as much. Some humidity there. Temperatures drop just a few degrees, still well above average. Drier for Saturday, 69, 65 with mainly dry conditions on Sunday. Those temperatures still near normal. An early shower Monday, back into sunshine Tuesday, and back up to 70.
Thank you, Mike. More on the kids making history, those 10 and 11-year-olds representing us against Russia on the ice when we come back. You're watching CBS 5 News at 5:30.
5 Sports is sponsored by Tompkins Trust Company.
One of New York's best travel hockey teams features players from right here in Central New York. Good evening, I'm Nico Tamuri, and they're called the Albany Capitals. It's a travel team of 10 and 11-year-olds with a local flavor. Chances are a local elementary school near you includes a player on this team that's about to make United States history. One look at these 10 and 11-year-olds, and it's clear they play hockey well beyond their years. Skills that will be put to the test on a world stage. May 24th, these 4th and 5th graders are traveling to Russia, the first American travel team from this age group to play in the prestigious Eurochem tournament in that country.
It will be really cool to represent our country and representing the United States as we are.
I'm really excited, I'm prepared, and yeah, I'm just really excited. We're going to a whole different continent, and it's going to be really fun.
For the adults, it's a mix of anxiety, but also knowing what an honor this is. Hockey on the world stage, even a tour of the Kremlin.
I'm still a little bit in shock of the whole thing. I can't believe we're really going and doing this. Well, you definitely watch the news a lot more than you used to. So yeah, we do get actually information sent to us daily. Yeah, I mean, you gotta be honest, yeah, there's those concerns. It's pretty goofy with everything going on in the world, and we're taking 10, 11-year-olds over to play hockey in Russia. It's youth hockey, and this is what we do, and we're going to enjoy the trip.
The players? Hey, it's a week from school playing hockey. The political part of all this, a non-factor.
It's a really great opportunity going that far for hockey. Yeah, it's really cool. It's good to connect with another country, and we'll have good competition there.
There's no denying the innocence, representing the United States on a goodwill mission in sport. A mission that just maybe all of us can learn from.
You know, it's amazing going to Russia and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Most kids don't get to go to play hockey there. It's really exciting to play with your best friends. I like it.
See, that's what I like. He gets to play with his best friend in Russia. Now, Coach Park's telling me his biggest concern is getting the paperwork ready, not the team on the ice. He'll leave that to former NHL player and head coach Brad Chartrand. Their first 2 games are set. They will play Finland, and then in game 2, you guessed it, Russia. The game with Russia, the team is told, may feature, as you see behind me, Russian President Vladimir Putin in the crowd. Well, you never know. Those kids might play for the Syracuse Crunch one day, the local top affiliate of the Tampa Bay Lightning, ready for round 2 of the Calder Cup playoffs. Syracuse set to hit the road for Toronto tomorrow, ahead of game 1 Thursday night in Canada. Because the team was able to beat Rochester so quickly in round 1, they are currently enjoying their longest layoff of the season, but rest assured they'll be ready Thursday night.
I mean, we've been at it. We've been off since last Wednesday, so I mean, we're all excited to get after it. They went for the whole series. They went 5 games, so we think we could probably get there and bring some energy because we've been rested up for a while here. So we hope that's going to be successful for us.
OCC men's lacrosse ready to repeat. As expected, they won Region 3 over the weekend. Now, the Lasers are set to host the Final Four and National Championship games Saturday and Sunday at their home field. For head coach Chuck Wilbur, so successful in his time there, the field is now named after him. The secret to success is rather simple.
It's great leadership, great talent. The leadership from our sophomores every year that are returning, that played the year before, and they know how to hand the pedestal down to the next group. So we're, it's just more of keeping the tradition going every year and having good leadership.
You know, I'm an OCC grad, and that's the one thing anywhere you mention OCC, oh, that lacrosse team, oh, Coach Wilbur. So sense of pride in our community for that team.
When they name the field after you, you've done something right.
Well said, Michael.
And you're still alive, and they named the field after you.
Darn young,
that's pretty okay. You're there to enjoy it. Nico, thanks. St. Joe's Hospital on being like Jesus. That story's coming next. And right after that on CBS 5 at 6, A big battle over a big painting. We've watched the historic fight over a painting with deep history in central New York. Now, all $20 million worth of it is suddenly back in the news.
Road crews are out in full force filling potholes around the city of Syracuse. Coming up, I'll tell you their plan of attack.
You want warmer temperatures? We've got them, up 15 degrees. You want 80s? They're in my forecast. You want some more sunshine and dry weather? I might not be able to provide you that. We'll show you the 7-day.
Plus, it was breaking news at this time last night. Now we know more about that chemical spill that caused trouble on Syracuse's north side. What was it? How far did it spread? Next on CBS 5 News at 6. St. Joseph's Hospital spend big money to put its name on a concert venue? We're finding out that it's to spread its message, just like Jesus Christ. Here's CBS 5's Justin Page.
St. Joseph's Hospital's decision to buy the naming rights to the Lakeview Amphitheater was made in large part to increase name recognition throughout the community. Some think the $1.5 million could have been spent elsewhere, but the hospital says it's a small price compared to the $46 million already invested this year to improve patient services. Sue Adams works in family medicine and thinks it's a worthy investment.
I thought it would be a good idea to, get St. Joe's name out there because I don't see it very much on billboards anymore. And we are a great hospital, so I think it's a great idea.
Donald Bort's mother is being treated at St. Joe's, and he also thinks the hospital deserves the recognition.
I know it's a very good hospital. It does a lot of good for the community out here. So I mean, in my opinion, I think it's a very good investment.
However, in a letter to employees, President and CEO Leslie Paul Luke responded directly to questions and concerns raised by some of his colleagues. Some wonder how it reflects the values of a Catholic institution when the venue books some anti-Christian bands and encourages drinking and partying. Luke's response, in part, is, quote, "Our community is not limited to those locations or community members whose activities and values are in complete alignment with our own. In his ministry, Christ spent a great deal of time teaching in places which were not ideal for his word." St. Joe's hopes when it comes to health care, their name will be first on the minds of the 180,000 expected to enjoy a show this summer. Reporting in Syracuse, I'm Justin Page.
This is CBS 5 News at 6 with Michael Benny.
Good evening. The top 5 stories are on the way. We begin with the Weather Authority forecast right off the top. We're live along the Oneida River in Brewerton at this hour. People all over central New York, we hope, getting outside for at least a bit today to enjoy the temperatures and the sunshine. So many restaurants along the waterfronts and beyond across central New York have opened up their patios. It's al fresco time around here. Let's get the latest on where we go from here with meteorologist Mike Brookins.
Or for the Brookins children, it's ice cream time.
Yes.
Although when is it not that really? All right, we've got temperatures this evening pushing 80 downtown. We've got 76 at the Hancock Airport Station. That's the warmest temperature so far of the day. Also the warmest temperature of 2018 so far. We're going to surpass it tomorrow. Look, we've got 80s with some sunshine in Seneca Falls while it's a little cooler near Lake Ontario. Check out Fairhaven right now, 64. All dry on Falso Service Experts live triple Doppler radar, and at least through tonight and most of tomorrow we stay that way. Still some sunshine out there. We'll clear out this evening, then clouds increase tomorrow. There is a rogue or isolated shower popping up later in the day, but look at those temperatures popping as well. We're into the low 80s with low humidity. Enjoy. Michael?
Thanks, Mike. Just after 6, here are the top 5 stories on CBS 5 News. Just in, we now know what spilled yesterday on Syracuse's north side that caused a stretch of Hiawatha Boulevard to close. It was 2,500 gallons of glyoxal, a chemical used to bind paper and fabric. The state DEC tells CBS 5 a pump malfunctioned at Complete Packaging Solutions on Hiawatha between 6th and 7th North Streets. The DEC says that spill did not reach any storm drains or sewers, and no waterways were impacted. Under arrest, a man from Rome facing charges in connection with a crash on the thruway from last year that killed a motorcyclist. It happened in Westmoreland. Troopers say 23-year-old Everett Taylor drove into the biker's lane, hitting him, sending both people on the motorcycle into the air. The driver, police say, never stopped. Those injured people were taken to the hospital where 47-year-old Joseph Parati died nearly a week later. A CBS 5 follow-up down the thruway. Schools in the Honeoye Falls, Lima district are back to normal after a shooting threat last week that led to more than half of the students staying home. Deputies say the investigation is now finished, although they're not revealing exactly what they found. We do know an arrest will not be made, but the superintendent says the student or students responsible for the threat could be expelled. New information tonight: the man found dead near a Destiny USA parking lot yesterday was reported missing from the rescue mission back in December. Police say the body of 61-year-old Donald O'Mara was found by someone who was walking in that area. Investigators say the death appears to be accidental. At the end of last year, the rescue mission had reported that O'Mara suffered with a medical condition that affected his motor skills and made him prone to falling down. In Wayne County, a 3-year-old boy from Sodus was hurt after he was run over by a car. Deputies say they were called to a home on North Century Road Monday afternoon. It happened when a car was backing out of the driveway, the boy in the back seat. Investigators say he managed to get out of his car seat, opened the back door, and then fell out. The child was taken to the hospital with injuries to his stomach. Tonight, the years-long battle over a multi-million-dollar historic painting is almost over. The state attorney general's office just brokered a deal to sell Thomas Cole's painting, Portage Falls on the Genesee, with the money it fetches going to the William Seward House and Museum of Auburn, where the painting hung for years. That artwork, which is big, it measures 5 feet by 7 feet. It was taken to a new location as its future was tied up in legal fights by an heir to William Seward, who served as Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of State. Let's get the facts first on CBS 5 News at 6. That painting was last valued at $20 million. It's considered a major work by the 19th century landscape painter Thomas Cole. It was given to William Seward when he was governor of New York. Cole traveled to the Genesee Valley to document the gorge before industrialization threatened to change it forever. He painted it back in 1839. CBS 5's Laura Hand joins us now with some new perspective on this. You've covered this for a while.
I was in court back in 2013
It's
as
amazing.
the fight got underway.
Let's start with anyone who's not an art buff, like me. Why is this painting significant? Why does anyone care about it?
Well, it is a big landmark, literally, in American art. Thomas Cole was the founder of the Hudson River School of American Painting, which really put art and artists in this country on the map.
As opposed to European artists
Everyone
who were hot.
went to Europe to paint. Well, they stayed here.
It was local talent.
Exactly.
Why did this become such a fight? I remember you covering this in court. Why in the world did this painting, this beautiful painting, wind up in court?
Well, because back in 2013, the Seward House wanted to sell it. The Seward House had been funded by something called the Fred Emerson Foundation for many, many years, and they were running out of money, and they needed a lot of money to keep the museum going.
So let's raise revenue by selling this big piece of art.
The catch was that an heir to William Seward, who was still alive, said, no, it belongs in the house because it is part of the heritage of William Seward and should be there for the public to see. So he went to court to block the sale.
So the state attorney general's office steps in. Now there's a deal to sell it. Who's going to sell it?
Right. Well, there are 3 groups: the Emerson Foundation, the Seward House, and everyone else involved. The attorney general are going to give it to Christie's, the Christie's auction house, to sell it to a qualified art buyer.
Wow, $20 million it could fetch.
That was when it was last appraised.
So maybe it went up with all the publicity.
Oh, yeah. If you look, 1951, it was valued at $100. By 2007, at the appraisal, it had gone to $20 million.
All of a sudden, we found an appreciation for history, or at least American art like that. Laura, you'll be on it and you'll watch it closely.
Absolutely.
Thank you. This is one of the top stories on the CNY Central mobile app. You can get the news of the day, breaking alerts, and more when you download it for free on your smartphone. There's a good chance you've hit 1, maybe you've hit 2. Potholes are everywhere, just about every street in central New York. And now, the city of Syracuse taking a new approach to try and fix them. We want to know if there's a pothole out there that you want to see fixed. The DPW says the fastest way to get the pothole on your street fixed is to actually call it in or report it. New at 6, CBS 5's Dan Messinio with the live eye on pothole-marked Almond Street downtown.
Michael, it's a headache most of us have to deal with, a large number of potholes around the city. Now, I'm at Almond and Washington right now, and if you take a look into the intersection, you could see several potholes right there. Now, when I talked to DPW today, they tell me that some days they get upwards of 50 pothole complaints. For neighbors on Bellevue Avenue, it's a sight for sore eyes.
Glad to see them come here and do that.
With spring finally here, Department of Public Works is now out in full force, filling in potholes, and it couldn't come soon enough for these neighbors.
All these houses shake a little bit and vibrate from when those holes are open. We fill every vehicle to go by, especially the trucks and the buses.
As any driver knows, some Syracuse city streets need some TLC. City officials say the harsh central New York winter hasn't been kind for the roads.
Freezing and thawing that we had this past winter, has done some damage to our roads.
Kevin Hunter with DPW says the roads are much worse this year and has noticed a spike in large potholes. Crews split the city into quadrants and try to fill potholes in each one at least once a week. This crew has been out filling and raking since early this morning and will be out doing the same thing for the next month or so.
It's going to take some time, but we are, aggressively trying to get as much work done as we possibly can.
The amount of work that gets done depends heavily on the weather that we see here in central New York over the next couple months. A lot of rain could slow down work. Reporting live in Syracuse, I'm Dan Messinio.
Dan, thank you.